We're cramping her style just a little bit. Hello, I'm Kristen, also known as Voolenvine, here on my YouTube channel, on Instagram, on Ravelry, and pretty much everywhere else on the interwebs. And as always, I'm so happy that you're taking some time out of your day to chat about all the knitting, all the sewing, all the making, or whatever life decides to throw at us this week. And this week, we are in the throes of it, my friends. Yes, COVID-19, the pandemic. Welcome. But yes, if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you are a new viewer, welcome to my little corner of the interwebs. I did take a break from recording last week and working just to replenish and recharge my creative juices. I was feeling a little bit burnt out, but alas, the COVID-19 pandemic has descended upon us in the meantime, and here we are. Hopefully my YouTube channel can be a source of comfort or escapism for you, from the drone of the news and what have you. That said, I hope you are all doing well, taking care of yourselves, staying safe, and for those of you who have been asking, thank you so much for reaching out and asking how I've been doing. I am fine. I'm here in Brooklyn. It's definitely a different world out there, but the main thing is that, Dennis and I are home. We don't leave the house unless we really need to stock up on essentials. I did make a run to the post office to drop off some packages from orders last week, but we come home, we wash our hands, and we stay put. As a self-professed introvert, I am completely fine with this. I welcome any opportunity to stay at home and be surrounded by my yarn, my sewing, and knitting, and just embracing it. But I know for some, it's definitely not easy, and you're feeling isolated, and I definitely want to start creating more content for this YouTube channel to just kind of keep the communication lines open and just be a source of some kind of temporary escape from what's actually happening out there. And just keep the creative juices flowing, so to speak. Because yeah, I will admit I am feeling slightly unfocused, unmotivated, and I think it's important to just kind of root each other on, cheer each other on, and keep each other inspired, and hopefully I can achieve that with this YouTube channel. So anyway, again, I hope you are all well. And, Voolenvine Yarns is open for business. Again, I did take a break last week, but I'm back at it. I think I'm not alone in thinking that, we need knitting more than ever right now. And, if I can help contribute to keeping you all supplied with yarn, I'm doing my part. So, but that's also, I'd be remiss not to say that, it really makes me sad to see a lot of local yarn shops closing and small businesses closing their shops, the brick and mortar shops closing down to prevent the spread of the virus. So if it is within your financial means, do reach out to your local yarn shop or small business of choice and do support them, because I know a lot of them are open for business online. And right now, a lot of these brick and mortar shops and small businesses are relying heavily on online purchases and donations, and they can use all the help they can get to stay afloat. So anyway, a lot of announcements for this intro. All that to say that I hope you guys are doing well, staying healthy, taking care of yourself and your loved ones, and staying in touch. And the show must go on in some shape, manner, or form. And I'm going to do what I can to stay in touch with you. And please do reach out. Leave a comment below. I created a thread on the Voolenvine Ravelry group, which is the place to be if you want to partake in our make-alongs. I did create a group. Just if you are feeling kind of isolated and just want to chat, leave a comment in there. It's a conversation that's seems to be picking up, and I dip in there frequently. Now that we only have one make-along going on, which I'll get to in a minute, I feel a lot more free to dip in and, converse with you guys. I'm not spread so thin, if that makes any sense. So yeah, it's been really fun, keeping up with you guys, checking in with you, and, I hope you guys, partake in that. And yes, but speaking of make-alongs, we do have our history make-along that's happening, and you guys, it is so fun. It is so much fun. That thread is bustling, as I said last week, because I'm the queen of puns, apparently. It's bustling with so many project ideas and so many projects already finished, and you guys are so excited about it. I'm excited for it. And if you are just tuning in, our history make-along is a make-along where we can knit, sew, crochet, weave, whatever your craft is, as long as it is historically inspired, historically accurate. It doesn't have to be historically accurate, but as long as it's historically inspired, we are making all things of the days of yore, prior to the 1950s. So if you are into anything 1950s and before, join us. It is so much fun. And yes, I have some projects to actually share with you this week that are historically inspired. I believe that is it for announcements this week. I know that was long-winded, but I just felt this was important to talk about. Clearly, it's the elephant in everyone's room, and we're not happy about it, but, you know, if I can brighten your day, then my job is done, I like to think. Yes, so anyway, let's get into what is on and off my needles. All right, I don't know if this really counts as a finished object. I guess it does since it's bound off, but this is an original 1890s pattern from the Butterick Publishing Company's Guide to Knitting, I believe. It's a book that was published in 1890, and it's scanned for free. It's available for everyone to check out over on archive.org. I will, of course, link to this in the description box below if you want to check it out yourselves. But I will say that patterns written during that time are nothing compared to what they're written like today. So the terminology, the abbreviations, the way the pattern is written is completely different. It's very long-winded. I know Franklin Habit has several Knittig columns. Thank you so much to those of you who pointed me in that direction. Love it. It's so awesome. Franklin Habit is amazing. He's very much into this, knitting from patterns of the days of yore, from like Victorian patterns, Edwardian patterns. He's all over this stuff. He even has a couple of blueprint or craftsy classes based on this stuff. Highly recommend them. He's really funny too, so check him out. And again, links below. But yeah, I decided to challenge myself, just looking at the pattern, going through it round by round and figuring and deciphering everything out for myself. And here we are. I finished it. And it's a little wonky. It needs to be blocked, but this is a counterpane pattern, and I'm not quite sure what a counterpane exactly is. I did not do my homework before recording this. I'm working with no show notes this week because I like to live on the edge. But I'm assuming, and I'll put the correct description in the down bar, I'm assuming it is a coaster of some sort because it is square. It's called a counterpane, so I'm assuming it's a square, a pane that you put down on your kitchen counter or whatever surface you have available that needs a counterpane. I don't know. But yes, so yeah, I need to soak and block it. As you can see, it has like a little peak that's happening up here, and it kind of looks like an orange juice grinder or something. So yeah, it definitely needs a good blocking. I used Jameson and Smith yarn that I had from Stash. And yeah, I didn't worry too much about gauge, and it just seemed like a really simple place to start. I'm not gonna lie, their instructions were a little cryptic, but nothing in the masochistic sense, but it did take some time, a little bit of ripping back to get the gist of it. But you know, once you have the pattern going, it becomes very intuitive. So when you're looking at the pattern, you're like, okay, I know I have to do that next, because if you read your knitting, you can see what has to come next. And they do have an illustration of what the pattern's supposed to look like, but yeah. And it's really pretty. I think, you know, if you were to knit several of these, it can make for a really nice blanket if you graph them all together. Again, it is a free pattern. It's out there on the interwebs. It's over 100 years old, so I figure, okay, you know, it's okay for me to reinterpret this pattern into modern terms, and you know, I am going to put it out as a pattern, a free pattern for you guys if you want to knit one of them yourselves. And yeah, this was my first rendition of the pattern, so I'm gonna knit it again, maybe on some larger needles and larger yarn, but for the most part it was really simple, really quick. I think this could make a really nice throw if you knit several of them and graph them all together. Yeah, so I thought it'd be a really fun project to share with you guys and the like. So yay, that is the first FO. Next up on the needles is a hoe, a half object. And yes, every week I just keep saying my sock knitting mojo, it doesn't exist, and yet I just keep knitting them. So I guess it's back to some extent. And yeah, this is a sock that I'm knitting for Dennis, or a pair of socks that I'm knitting for Dennis out of my hand-dyed yarn, Voolenvine yarns in the Manderley colorway. on my Footsie base, which is a superwash BFL Blue Face Luster nylon blend. Love it. Favorite sock yarn. Not to toot my own horn, but it's one of my favorite bases that I dye. But yeah, we have one sock done and half of the second sock complete. I am currently on the heel, and again, I'm doing a simple, basic sock, 1x1 rib and fish lips kiss heel. And for Dennis, I cast on 72 stitches as opposed to 64 stitches, which I usually cast on for myself. However, these are proving to be a little bit loose on him, believe it or not. And I don't know if it's because my gauge is getting looser, or I don't know, maybe he just has skinny ankles. I don't know. So I think in the future, if I knit him another pair of socks, I might just go down to, I don't know, 68 stitches. Because yeah, these are a little, like, they're not terribly baggy, but they are a little baggy around his ankles. So I might go down several stitches, probably about like 4 to 6. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? But yeah, that is where I am with my spousal socks. So yeah. Socks! The only other thing I have to talk about is my Nightingale, which has been getting quite a bit of worked on. I have been working on my Nightingale pullover, a pattern by Norah Gaughn, which is a pattern from when she was the guest editor of Pom Pom magazine. Here is that magazine where it's from. Yeah. And I am just about halfway done with the front. So I finished the back panel, halfway done with the front panel. Now I'm at the point where I have to decrease and shape the sleeves and the neckline, and then I get to move on to Sleeve Island. It's a labor of love for sure, and yeah, it's taking me quite a bit of time, and I will be honest, I haven't worked on this all week, so I think this weekend I'm gonna hunker down and get some knitting done on this, at least finish the front panel, because I am done with half of the chart, and all that's left is the shaping, which should be a cakewalk. And the yarn that I'm using is Quince & Co. Lark. It's the same yarn that the pattern in the magazine calls for, and I really like working with this yarn. This is the second time that I'm working with this yarn, because I did use the same yarn and colorway to knit the Stonecutter pullover, a pattern by Michele Wang. And I will be honest, while I love knitting that pattern and I love the finished product, I don't wear it that much. It's a little oversized, it's a little bulky, but yeah, I just wasn't getting anywhere out of it. But I really did like the yarn, so I ordered more to knit the Nightingale, and love this so much. This is gonna get so much wear. Yeah, and as I mentioned last week, I had forgotten to switch to larger needles and start and stop ribbing after a certain point. I have since fixed all those, the ribbing on the top, and I dropped down all my stitches, crocheted up, and fixed those purl stitches, converted them to knit stitches. So now we do not have ribbing. So we have ribbing only up till here, and then the rest of it on the sides is stockinette. So mischief managed. That is all I have to share with you as far as knitting is concerned this week. I guess we shall move on to sewing. So the other elephant in the room is my finished garment that I'm currently wearing, and that is the Armistice blouse, a wonderful pattern by Folkwear Patterns. And I whipped this up, I want to say over the course of 2 or 3 days. It was a very quick make, but just finding the time to finish it. I did not make a muslin for it, and that, again, I don't learn my lesson. I should make a muslin for everything, but sometimes I just want to dive right in, and but thankfully it worked out for the best. And I will stand up so you can see what it looks like in all its glory. And yes, I am wearing, once again, my my Fantail. I'm wearing my modern Fantail skirt by Scroop Patterns. I really need to make myself another one because this is getting so much wear. I just wear it with pretty much every blouse that I own, and I think it's time to whip out another one. Yeah, but we'll get to that in a bit. Here's the Armistice blouse. It's tucked in, and you can't see it, but in the back, you might be able to see it. There is a tie So it's a gathered section right here with ties. So, you know, you could wear it over and tie it and it creates a blousey effect. So I pretty much followed the pattern to a T, but when I did, this center panel right here fell really low. So I had to unpick all my hand stitching and shift it up so it fell right where it is right now. And I feel like it's perfect. But I'll step closer so you can see. So the fabric I used, I purchased from fabric.com a while back. It's just been sitting in my stash, but it's this really beautiful, it was really unique when I saw it online, and it's even more unique in person, but it's this really lightweight black cotton eyelet with almost like a Swiss dot effect, but I really like the effect that it has. And then this is my first time doing a lace insertion. So, you know, it's not a true lace insertion. It's just kind of like an edging basically. But what's cool about this fabric is it has like a directional kind of pattern. So I got to play around with the direction of the stripes. So, you know, here the stripes are going horizontal across the collar and the center panel. And then for the bodice, it's all going down, vertical. And then again on the sleeves, which I did alter, the pattern has the sleeves going all the way down to the wrists and ballooning out from here, but I don't wear long sleeves, so I altered it to be a 3/4 length sleeve, and then I redrafted the sleeve cuffs just to be a simple cylinder, and then I gathered the sleeves into the cuff. But otherwise, I just follow the pattern as it directed me. What's cool about the Armistice shirt, and I wrote about this on my sewing blog, but for those of you that don't read blogs, I'll reiterate that here. This pattern was popular during the beginning of the First World War. So not while I'm very much into the Edwardian era and I'm endeavoring to create an Edwardian wardrobe for myself, this pattern I learned while I was making it was more popular during the beginning of World War I. So that, you know, around like 1918, like right before the 1920s. But what's cool about this shirt is that while everyone had them, they all had the same basic shape. Each one was so incredibly unique. A lot of, you know, when men had to go off to war, women had to step in and start working. They wore these shirts mainly because they're practical, they weren't restraining, and they also, when they were making them, they would take that as an opportunity to take their mind off the war. They would practice their needlework and, you know, lace insertions, and there were so many different varieties of these shirts. So while they were pretty much a dime a dozen, like everyone had them, everyone was wearing them, each one was like their own special snowflake because they were, you know, each one had a different lace insertion or embroidery pattern. So it's like it kind of made me think of them as like blank canvases to kind of experiment and play around and practice, you know, needlework and sewing. And yeah, it's just so fascinating. And yeah, so it's like, so anyway, I had a lot of fun learning about that. I definitely want to make more of them in different colors. It just has, you know, even though it's not specifically unique to the Edwardian period era, you know, you can totally get away with it. And, you know, we live in an age where we can mix and match different eras. There's nothing wrong with that. The world's your oyster. Make it what you will. Anyway, that is the story behind my Armistice blouse, and I will be making plenty more. Yes, so moving along, I'm trying to think. There's another project that I did finish over the weekend, and I posted about it on Instagram. And you're not going to be able to see this because it is completely black. But this is the Eton jacket by Truly Victorian Patterns. And again, I'm wearing all black. I am just rocking the goth look today, guys. It's hilarious. And I don't think this jacket really goes well with this blouse because it's, you know, you have a lot going on here. There's a collar. This is meant to go over, I think, a more simple white blouse and have the puff sleeve effect. But this was an achievement for me, guys. I am so happy with this finished garment. You have no idea. So the idea was that I wanted to create an Edwardian inspired spring jacket because I do have a black leather jacket that I wear just to chuck on over things. It goes with everything, but I did want something a little more historical, so to speak, more Edwardian, more, you know, a little more delicate. And this pattern came into my life. I was just browsing the internet. I'm like, that is exactly what I want to make. So I had the fabric, I had the lining. And when I did make a muslin, because I feel like when you're working with an outer garment, well, they are actually easier to whip up compared to more delicate fabrics, outer garments. I just wanted to get the fit right. And so the pattern that I used from Truly Victorian Patterns, and again, links in the down bar, in the description box, I did make a muslin, and the sleeves, I mean, the pattern is historically accurate, and the sleeves were very voluminous and very dramatic. And while I am here for that, I love the look of that, I did want something that I could just chuck on every day, kind of fly under the radar, and not be like, here I am from Edwardian times. No, that's not what I was going for with this. I just wanted something a little more subdued, a little, you know, just a flair, a hint of Edwardian times. So I feel like I really achieved that with this project. I will say though that I did hit a wall when it came to reducing the volume of the puff sleeve. And you know, I pretty much exhausted all the sources on the internet, and the pattern that I was working with was very wonky. It was just it's a weird shape. It almost looks like an apostrophe, if I could describe it as such. Anyway, I found so many resources as to how to add and create Lego mutton sleeves. By the way, these are called Lego mutton sleeves because they resemble a leg of lamb mutton. The more you know. I exhausted pretty much all the resources on the internet, could not find anything. I was completely stumped. So what do? You phone a friend. And I phoned my friend Amy, who is, I called her my sewing Yoda, because I texted her and she's like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna get home. I'm gonna make some diagrams and send you some stuff. She went above and beyond. She sent me a whole cutout thing and everything. And anyway, she came through, she really helped me, and I now have a new skill under my belt, and I'm so happy. So Amy, if you are watching, and I highly doubt you are, but thank you. Thank you so much. But yeah, it was a success. It was a success. I managed to do it. And again, I did post on my blog a diagram of how I slashed and pivoted the pattern piece to make it smaller, taking it from like this to this. And yeah, so if you are curious and want to make your own and do the same, it's now available on my blog. Because, you know, I figured, you know, if I couldn't find any information, surely there are other people wanting to do the same, so I thought I would pass along the knowledge to you guys. Yeah, so this is my Eton jacket. I will stand up so you can see. But yes, Lego mutton sleeves, shrunken down, has this really awesome collar right here. I'll take it off so you can see it. Yeah, the fabric, again, I purchased it from fabric.com. It's just a black velveteen, 100% cotton. And the lining that I used is fabric that I picked up from an odd job in Job Lot, or I think it's a Job Lot, that I picked up in Cape Cod. They had 4 yards of this interesting fabric. It's completely polyester, completely synthetic. I purchased it when I knew nothing about fabric. I just saw that it reminded me of Silk du Pony. I love the coloring, and I don't know if you can see, but really close. Yeah, it has like this kind of silky, like Dupony texture to it, like these little nups or nubs or schlurbs, as I like to say, schlubs. Yeah, so that worked out really well. I'm glad I finally found a use for it. The pattern does not have you, does not have you line the sleeves, but I really didn't like not having an extra layer of insulation and just raw edges touching my skin on the inside. I don't know, I didn't like that. So I did go ahead and make the sleeves again twice with the lining and just insert it there. The cool thing about that is that it adds some extra volume to the sleeve when you're wearing it. So that worked out really well. And yeah, I just machine stitched the lining all around the collar, and then for the edge down here, I just whip stitched everything in place, and also whip stitched the sleeve lining in place over here as well. So yeah, it's just a really cute little Edwardian inspired jacket that I can chuck on and stay warm on chillier spring days and fall days. So yay! I'm trying to think what else I wanted to say about it. It came together super quick. This was almost too easy to whip up, you guys. It was, yeah, I thought I was doing something wrong. I'm like, this should not be this easy. So I would say if you're an adventurous beginner, this is a great project to start with. If you want to brave, sleeve gather, setting in sleeves, lining, and because it's an outer garment, the fabric is very stable to work with. So you know, it's very simple. So I would definitely recommend it if you are a newbie beginner. And you don't, again, you can follow the pattern to a T. You don't have to add the sleeve lining. You can just go with the body lining. So anyway, yes, that is that. One more thing before I wrap things up. I do have a pattern haul because McCall's was having a sale on patterns for $2.99 or $3. I think it's $2.99 or $3.99. I believe it's $2.99. And I did purchase some, I want to say, Edwardian, Victorian inspired patterns from their site, because right now I feel like this, you know, like whole Edwardian style is very in, ironically, at the moment. I know Zara and H&M are really riding this wave, this trend or whatever, so I'm here for it. I'm very much excited for that. So a lot of the big five pattern companies are hopping on that bandwagon as well, coming out with similar style patterns, and I am here for it, guys. So the first one that I purchased was this one. So I feel like you could convert this into an Edwardian type shirtwaist of some kind, using just kind of like a cream cotton or linen. So there's this one. And this one I really, really like. This one obviously takes a lot of fabric, but there's some lace insertion there, some buttons, the puff sleeves, and they give you several options for different types of sleeves and lengths. So I thought this was really cute. I ordered, holy cow, I ordered two, I didn't realize it. I'm gonna do a giveaway. I literally just took these out of the package, so yeah, I had no idea I ordered two. Oh well, it's going to be a giveaway, I guess. So stay tuned for that one. And this one is just a long maxi skirt. I feel like you could have a lot of fun with that. And, you know, just a summer white blouse or shirt waist. It could go either way. So yeah, so there's that one. And this one is my favorite. I think I'm going to try cranking this out over the weekend. I did make a fabric.com purchase. Still waiting for it to be shipped. I know a lot of things in the mail are being delayed, so it is what it is, but, you know, I think this weekend I do have some fabric in my stash that I might try to crank this one out. Again, it has the front buttons down the front, the flounce. It definitely has a nod to the 1890s of some kind. So yeah, for more casual days. And yeah, I don't know if you guys have noticed, if you're familiar with McCall's pattern company, they just went through a rebrand. They changed their logo, and their whole website is revamped, and they actually have a lot more PDF patterns available now, which is amazing. So definitely check them out. I know when they do have those sales, the $2.99 pattern sales, their PDF patterns are not on sale. I think they usually go for about $13, $14 US, which is kind of lame, but hey, you know. But yeah, that is my pattern haul. Alright guys, I think that is it for the creative content of the episode this week. Again, I am going to try and post some more fun content for you this week, be it little short vlogs or tours of my craft room. I'm gonna do, I actually recorded something yesterday about what's in my knitting notions pouch, so hopefully you guys are excited for that. I am gonna do an AMA. I put a call out onto Instagram earlier this week about, you know, letting me know what you want to know, because it's been a while since I did an Ask Me Anything episode, and why not? Let's do it again, because those are always fun. Yeah, and I'm just brainstorming a whole bunch of other things. So if you do have any ideas of what you want to see on the podcast, let me know in the comments below. I'll make a list and see if I can. And I'll see if I can create some more fun stuff for you guys. But yeah, I am going to move along to the blather segment, a segment where I chat about what's happening in my life, should you care to stick around. All right, life stuff. Well, the obvious, Dennis and I really aren't going anywhere. We are cooking at home for the most part. We're getting takeout, leaving the house again, only when necessary to pick up essentials at the grocery store. But yes, Dennis is working from home. Bella is getting plenty of attention from us. So all things are well and fine here in this household. Things, again, are a little weird outside. You know, again, I try not to go outside, and it blows my mind when I do see people that are out and about in groups. I'm like, what? Have you been watching the news, people? And one thing that really freaked me out was I did have to make a run to the grocery store, and there were campaigners standing outside the grocery store with clipboards and pens. This is like 2 days ago, and I was just like, you know, they're like literally approaching people, asking them if they're registered to vote. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, have you been watching the news? Go inside, do not approach me, maintain your distance. So yeah, it really blows my mind that people are not taking this as seriously as it is, because I feel like if we all just stay inside, I know it stinks, but the sooner we all stay inside, stay away from each other, the sooner this can all go away and we can get on with our normal lives. So anyway, I'm not going to get up on a soapbox, but that's just the way I'm taking it. I want, like everyone else, I just want this to stop. I want to be able to get on with my life and enjoy being outside even though I'm an introvert, I do enjoy getting out from time to time. And I want my date nights back. I want Friday date nights back, where Dennis and I go out to eat on Friday nights and sometimes Saturday. I mean, we miss eating out. I like eating out aside from the news. I only watch what I need to watch for like 15 minutes maybe, and that's it. I'm out. I can't watch anymore. Dennis has been watching it like around the clock, and I'm just like, how are you staying sane right now? But yeah, other than that, together we've been watching, what was it? We finished watching Mrs. Maisel. Love that show. Cannot wait for the next season. I've been watching podcasts. Dennis and I started watching The Witcher on HBO, and I will be totally honest. I'm not that crazy about it. We watched 2 episodes, and I'm just like, it's not sticking. Please don't take this the wrong way. I know many people like the show, but it kind of reminds me of a 90s Xena Princess Warrior / Highlander episode. I don't know if you're familiar with that series, but it definitely has that same feel to it, where it's a little campy, and I don't know. I'm not that into it, but maybe I have to give it more time. Maybe I have to stick it out to like 5 episodes. I'm not knocking it. Maybe I'll watch another episode, but for the most part, I'm just not feeling it. Other than that, I've been reading, or listening, I should say, to Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I'm halfway done with it. I don't know how I feel about it right now. I'm not enjoying it as much as I've enjoyed A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's a different take on things. So compared to A Court of Thorns and Roses and the Throne of Glass series, it has more modern elements. There's electronics, there's iPhone, there are cell phones, there's email, there's, TV. It's a kind of like a more modern take on, mythical creatures, fae, angels, shapeshifters. So it's interesting. I'm interested to see where the story goes, but I'm not connecting with the characters as much as I connected with her other series. So I don't know, but I'm sticking with it. I'm not bored with it. It's keeping me entertained. So I've been listening to that. And I'm trying to think, what else? What else have I been really enjoying? Finally, at night, I have started reading the actual physical book, A Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This has been sitting in my library forever and ever. I believe I started reading it in college at some point. I've had this book forever, and on a whim, I just picked it up and started reading it, and oh my gosh, you guys, it is so good. Kitty, do you want to say hello? Oh, Kitty wants to say hello. How are you handling this, huh? How are you doing, Kitty? Do you like having us home all the time? Are we driving you batty? Yeah, you're getting so many more treats. You're getting so many more scritches, so many more cuddles. All this attention. But are we cramping your style? We're cramping her style just a little bit. But yes, I've just been enjoying winding down the day every night with that book, so I highly recommend it. And yes, I'm trying to think what else. All right, guys, I'm going to end things there. Thank you, as always, for hanging out with me this week. I hope you're doing well. Take care of yourselves. Stay connected with friends, family, loved ones. Check in with them via the internets. That's what it's there for. Thank goodness for it, right? But, stay creative, and, I will see you next time. And if you are new to this channel, feel free to like and subscribe. I put out a video for your viewing pleasure every week. And that said, happy knitting, happy making, and I'll see you next time. Bye!